A lot of excitement about this one. I do want to talk a little bit about just kind of the life cycle of these consoles. It's been 8 years since the Switch came. The Switch came off of a kind of disappointing console, the Wii U, which came off of, we know how the cycle has been going. I guess the question now is, with the Switch 2, how do you avoid that trap again? What makes the Switch 2 a worthwhile upgrade so you don't kind of fall into that Wii U moment again?
Yeah, I think of a lot of it is happening behind us right now. And really for us, it's about creating that next generation of gaming platforms for us and doing it in a way that really enhances the overall gameplay for consumers. And with Switch 2, we've taken the things that you know and love about Nintendo Switch, but then added very powerful gameplay features and social features. So it's that understanding of your past and your legacy and what worked well, and then how can you supplement that with improved features, improved interaction to create what we've created today, which is Switch 2.
Part of that's under the hood, and I know you've partnered with NVIDIA on that. Can you just talk a little bit about the improvements we're going to see for these gameplay on a technical level? What can you achieve now as a developer on the Switch 2 that you maybe couldn't have done on the Switch 1?
Yeah, so there's a few features that I'll call out. First of all, the new and improved Joy-Con, really redesigned from the ground up. And the Joy-Con 2, which are the controllers that you have either when it's on the device or when you disconnect, when you're in a docking mode, we've designed from the ground up the control sticks. We've increased the size of the shoulder buttons. We've improved the overall feedback and rumble that you feel when you're playing the game. So that's just one example. From a CPU and GPU standpoint, we've greatly improved that capability and capacity, which is now allowing developers to really bring deeper and richer content to the platform.
Price is a big issue here. Everyone's talking about it. It's $150 more than the original Switch was. Can you talk a little bit about why we're seeing such a big price increase versus the previous generation?
So I think it boils down to a couple of things. First of all, the hardware unit itself, which has a lot of improved features, from some of the things I talked about earlier with the Joy-Con 2, also to the LCD screen that is much larger and much deeper and richer. And then there's the CPU and GPU processing power that allows for much deeper game development, and I think an ability to bring even more developers onto the platform. And then laid on top of that is the social features that we haven't talked about. But Game Chat is this unique feature that lays on top of any game that you play. With the push of one button, seamlessly you can connect with your friends, you can chat with them via audio, or with 4 of them, you can have them on a video camera and have this opportunity to interact and talk about the games you're playing.
Now we're sitting here on April 2nd. It just so happens, as we're recording this, the President of the United States right now is announcing his tariffs. You and so many other executives are pulling their hair out, trying to figure out, how do I price my products? How did that come into play as you're deciding how to price the Switch 2 here in the United States?
Yeah, as we priced the Switch 2, the price we announced today of $449 for the single SKU, we didn't consider tariffs into that equation. We felt that that was going to be the right price point for our consumers and the right value proposition, if you will, for the device that we're creating. A lot of news today. We're still all trying to really understand it better and understand what possible impacts may rise from that, but nothing I can really add to today's discussion around pricing.
And typically consoles lose money, but you make them up not on the hardware, but you make it up on the software. Is that kind of the idea with this as well?
Well, I would say that we all are trying to find a way to maintain, if you will, margins on the hardware, even though they may be more slim than they are on software. But yeah, the whole proposition, really, the value add proposition here is, once you install the hardware, we want to keep consumers engaged. We want to make sure that they're seeing the value in their investment in one of our devices. So we're ensuring that we always have gameplay experiences and a regular cadence of gameplay experiences that allows them to come in, purchase, try, play a game, purchase the next game, and really stay engaged with the device over time. And that's part of the success we had with the Nintendo Switch.
I think that's one thing people miss out a lot, is the value you get out of games. You might go to the movies, pay $30 or whatever for one outing at the movies, but that's a 2-hour experience, whereas this, hundreds of hours, right? for paying it.
Absolutely, and if we use the Nintendo Switch as an example, we've installed over 150 million units of Nintendo Switch over its lifetime worldwide. Last year, 129 million of those devices were still active. So that's really what's important. We want to make sure consumers see that value and that we're always providing them with new gameplay experiences and other experiences that'll keep them engaged on the platform.
Now, let's talk about the games.
Yep.
Behind us, we have the new Mario Kart World game going on. Now, I know you're bundling that with the console as a digital download, that it's a $50 add-on. But if you buy the game itself, this got a lot of attention. I don't know if you've seen. $80, that's a lot for a game. I know it's typically not what Nintendo charges. And then we look at the Donkey Kong game that's coming out about a month later, it's $70. Can you talk a little bit about how the gaming pricing strategy is $80 kind of the benchmark for a AAA game from Nintendo? What should we be expecting in the Switch 2 generation as far as how much we're going to be spending on these games?
Yeah, I would say that we're not really looking to establish a benchmark for pricing. We look at every game and every experience and determine what we believe is the right price point based on that experience. You've had a chance to play Mario Kart World and see how deeply immersive it is and how fun it is. And we haven't shown everything yet. We still have a Mario Kart World Direct that'll be coming that'll show even the deeper feature set. So we believe based on the depth and breadth of the play and the repeatability of the play over time, the pricing that we announced is the right pricing. But again, other games like you mentioned, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's going to be at a $70 price point because that is what we feel is the right price point for that particular gaming experience.
So there's no standard price, basically.
There's no standard price.
What about for third-party titles? Is that kind of up to the developer?
That's exactly right. It's really their choice based, again, on the type of gameplay experience that they're bringing.
Let's talk about supply. Really interesting pre-order mechanism you got going on, at least through if we buy from you directly.
That's right.
And I thought this was interesting. It seems to be an anti-scalper move, if I'm reading it correctly, where you have to have a Nintendo account. You're going to look at how many hours I play before you determine if I'm worthy of buying a Switch 2. Are people going to be able to go out and buy it on day one?
So you're going to see, first of all, you're speaking to our own pre-order program that we have through My Nintendo or through Nintendo.com. And our motivation there with the number of hours played was really to reward our most loyal players and to give them a chance to queue up first and have an opportunity to purchase the product. Tomorrow we're going to be meeting with our retail partners, and our retail partners will have their own pre-order programs. So our goal is to meet the demand that's going to be out there for Nintendo Switch 2.
Do you think you can?
Well, it remains to be seen. Yeah. That certainly is our goal.
It's not going to be a Wii 1 situation where
we certainly
years of supply constraints, or the PlayStation 5 years of supply constraints. No COVID to deal with now, so
that's correct.
Good.
That's correct, and we've had some time to build up inventories on a global basis.
Okay.
So we really do hope we can meet that today.
So these are ready to ship. They're ready to go.
They're even landed already in some in the United States. Yes.
Oh wow! So now people are going to go hunting for warehouses, I think, for these things. I want to talk about safety, kid safety. When I saw you introduce Game Chat in the Direct today, the first thing I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a nightmare for parents and kids. Like, you know, Nintendo usually doesn't do these kind of features by design. And then you said parental controls aren't going to be part of it. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys thought through Game Chat to make sure it is safe for kids? Because we're seeing on mobile games, on tablet games, we're seeing huge issues with this right now. Parents are concerned about safety online games. What is the process with Game Chat? How you guys thought about that?
Yeah, well, first of all, for us as an industry, player safety is critically important, in particular child safety. And so it's a really important issue that we're addressing at the industry level, whether that's through the ESA or whether that's through the ESRB. When it comes specific to Nintendo, there's a couple layers that we can implement. So first of all, with Game Chat, when you choose Game Chat, you're only choosing from a list of your friends. So you're not going online to a wide open
no
community.
strangers.
That's right. It is your friends and it's your friend list and those people that you've invited into your gaming environment. Second, for kids 15 and under, we're putting on top of that the parental control app, where parents, not on the device, but via a separate app on their mobile phone, can actually be a part of their kids' gaming experience. And they have the ability, beyond who the kids can chat with and play with, they have the ability to control the amount of time kids can play, whether they can purchase products from the eShop, what types of titles or what types of games they can play. And yes, very importantly, for kids 15 and under, they also have to be a part of the decision to even use Game Chat, and they have to activate Game Chat from the app that's on the parent's phone. So we feel we've got a number of layers of security that ensure the safety of children as they play.
Talk about the age verification process here, because that's another issue. with kids and games. We're seeing it happen right now on the mobile app stores. There's some laws being passed. How do you guys do age verification?
Age verification is done via the parents as they sign up their children's account. So we really do, we encourage parents to be a part of their kids' gaming. Maybe they don't want to play with their kids. We encourage that too, and we try to make our, our games approachable so they can do that. But we really do want parents to be a part of their children's gaming process. So as they're setting up the Nintendo account, we want them to be a part of that overall. But there isn't a verification process per se where we would identify an ID or anything else. It's really done more by the parent.
Okay, the parents have to set it up. Okay. I want to zoom out from the Switch 2 just a little bit and talk about Nintendo as a whole.
Yeah.
Some really interesting stuff has been coming out. We just a couple days ago, you announced the Legend of Zelda live-action movie. With my parent company, you guys developed the Super Mario movie, Super Mario World at Universal Studios. We're also seeing new apps come out, like the music app. Some new gadgets come out, like Alarmo.
Yep.
Should we be thinking of Nintendo as more of a character and IP company now? Versus, are you guys trying to go after Disney here? Or strict gaming? How do we think about that?
I think you should think of us as an entertainment company, because going all the way back to our origins in 1889, we were all about entertainment. We started as a manufacturer of playing cards, Hanafuda playing cards, and through our history, we've had various iterations of gameplay, whether that's toys, whether that's bowling alleys, a whole host of things. Now, today, absolutely, video games is at the core of our entertainment experiences, but we've also learned that these characters and these worlds have the ability to step beyond just a video game environment. So the examples you provided, such as movies, are a wonderful example of that. In the end, our mission is to create smiles. Very simple, very straightforward. The strategy that we utilize to go about doing that is to increase the number of touch points that consumers can have with our characters in worlds. So movies, theme parks, other out-of-video game experiences continue to create those touch points, and thereby the affinity, if you will, for our characters in games. And if people then want to come into our gaming ecosystem and be a part of that, we welcome it.
So we should expect to see more movies, we should expect to see more physical attractions.
I think the trends you've seen will continue. Obviously, we just announced when the Legend of Zelda movie will be released. We've already announced that next March, the Super Mario Brothers 2 movie will be released. On May the 22nd, we'll be opening Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios at the new Epic Universe that they're building. So there's a lot of this that'll be coming over the years to come.
And if you had to fan cast right now, who's playing Link and Zelda in the movie?
Oh boy, I don't even want to go there.
Mobile gaming. You guys dabbled in it for several years there. I was actually at the Apple event where Miyamoto came out and showed Super Mario Run, and everyone's like, oh, they finally did it. Several years later, it's kind of died off, I feel like, a little bit, the mobile gaming. What's going on there? Do you still see value in mobile? I know you have mobile apps for controlling your account and things like that, but it seems like the gaming side has taken a back seat. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think you touched on an important point when you mentioned the mobile apps. First of all, going back to that strategy I talked about, which is increasing the number of touch points consumers have with our characters in our worlds. We do view mobile, and whether it's games and or applications, as one way that we can do that. And we still have active mobile games across a number of franchises out there. But we're also learning that people want to engage with us in different ways. So we just a couple days ago released Nintendo Today, which is an app on your phone that allows you to just, it's your hub of everything Nintendo, and gives you that chance to learn about upcoming announcements, in-game features that may be coming, and you can program it in a way that it talks about your favorite franchises to you. The music app is another one that you just mentioned, that is a part of our Nintendo Switch Online application. And so we're looking at not just games, mobile games, as one avenue, if you will, of connecting with consumers, but other ways through other applications.
So should we start looking at the Nintendo subscription as kind of like your version of Amazon Prime? I know like the music is kind of included in that, some of that. Is that kind of the strategy you're going for?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a direct comparison, but the way I think about it is Nintendo Switch Online or Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pass really is all about giving consumers connection to other parts of our IP and of our gaming catalog. So for instance, Nintendo Classics. You have the ability to go back and play games from your favorite platforms, maybe the ones you started on, whether it's NES or SNES. And we just announced GameCube and there's other platforms that we brought games back on. So it's an avenue into those games. We've also announced that with the launch of Nintendo Switch 2, we're going to be taking some of the most popular games that were on Nintendo Switch, like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and offering Nintendo Switch 2 editions, so abilities to up-res the gameplay, to have more features available, and those will be given for free through the Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pass subscription. Music's another great example. So we are looking for ways to engage our consumers through that subscription model in a lot of different ways.
Not just games.
Not just games, exactly.
Finally, we got to talk about artificial intelligence. I know Nintendo's not an AI company. I don't think they're going to launch a chatbot to compete with OpenAI anytime soon. But at the same time, we've already started to see some gaming companies dabble in it. Just a few weeks ago, Roblox had their own AI model for 3D game generation. Electronic Arts is thinking about it. We're starting to see some dabbling there. How's Nintendo thinking about it? Do you see it speeding up game development, for example? Do you see more creative tools? Like, I'm thinking like a Super Mario Maker type of situation. How are you guys thinking about injecting AI into your games?
Yeah. I'm always a little careful not to speak on behalf of the developers. I want them to talk about their art and what we do. But if we think about just technology in general to start with, as we look at technology, we always want to make sure the technology we may be leveraging, whether it's to develop our games or whether it's in our devices, is going to create a better gameplay experience. It starts there and goes back to those smiles I was talking about generating. So that's a very important part of our decision-making process in how to use AI. Obviously, AI is very popular right now. It's being used broadly in a number of different ways. It could be used to enhance productivity. Even within my organization, it can be used to enhance productivity and how we get things done. So there's one utilization. What I would say is if developers choose to use AI, and it is a discussion right now at Nintendo, it's not the only method of developing games. We still believe that what makes our games special is our developers, their artistic capabilities, their insight into how people play. So there's always going to be a human touch and a human engagement in how we develop and build our games.
So no bots making the next Nintendo game.
I don't think so.
They're going to be humans making it. And the next Zelda game comes out when?
Stay tuned.
Okay. Doug Bowser, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.